Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're diving deep, far below the sunlit waves, into a world of perpetual twilight. Imagine a realm 200 to 1,000 meters down, where sunlight fades to nothing, the pressure is immense, and life takes on bizarre and beautiful forms. This is the Mesopelagic zone, or the twilight zone, and in this inky blackness, a daily drama unfolds that is critical to the health of our entire planet. It's the story of the unseen engineers of our climate, the mesopelagic fish. These small, often strange-looking fish are not just part of the food chain. They are key players in a massive process that moves carbon from our atmosphere into the deep ocean, helping to regulate Earth's climate. Their story begins with the largest animal migration on the planet, a migration that happens every single day. The twilight zone is a world of contrasts. Above it, the sunlit epipelagic zone is bustling with photosynthesis. But down here, there is no sunlight for plants. Life depends on a constant, gentle shower of organic matter from above, a flurry of dead plankton, fecal matter, and other debris known as marine snow. This nutrient-rich snowfall is the foundation of an incredibly efficient ecosystem where nothing is wasted. The inhabitants are masters of survival. Bioluminescent jellyfish drift like living constellations. Giant squid hunt in the gloom. And then there are the fish, like the bristlemouths and lanternfish. To survive here, they've developed an incredible arsenal of tools. Many have enormous, highly sensitive eyes to capture the faintest glimmers of light. And, most famously, many can produce their own light through bioluminescence, using it to attract prey, startle predators, or find a mate in the crushing dark. But the most defining feature of this world is the daily vertical migration. As dusk falls on the ocean surface, a colossal upward movement begins. Billions, perhaps trillions, of mesopelagic fish, along with countless zooplankton and shrimp, ascend from the depths. They travel hundreds of meters up to the productive surface waters to feed on the abundant phytoplankton and smaller creatures under the cover of darkness. It's a nightly feast. Then, as dawn approaches, they reverse course, descending back into the darkness and pressure of the deep to hide from predators that hunt by sight. This daily commute is the largest animal migration on Earth by biomass, and it has profound consequences for us all. By feeding in the carbon-rich surface waters and then returning to the depths, these fish actively transport that carbon into the deep ocean. This process is a vital component of what scientists call the biological carbon pump. So what is this pump? It's a suite of natural processes that transport carbon from the surface to the deep sea, where it can be locked away or sequestered for hundreds or even thousands of years. Without it, scientists estimate atmospheric CO2 concentrations would be about 400 parts per million higher than they are today, leading to a drastically warmer planet. The pump starts with phytoplankton, microscopic marine plants that absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. This carbon then enters the food web. One part of the pump is passive, the so-called gravitational pump. This is when marine snow and other particles simply sink. But the other part is active transport, and this is where mesopelagic fish are the superstars. They are the engines of carbon sequestration, and they do it in several ingenious ways. First, through respiration. Just like us, these fish breathe. After they've feasted at the surface, they return to the deep with bellies full of carbon. Throughout the day, as they metabolize that food, they release carbon dioxide through respiration. But because they are deep in the ocean, that CO2 dissolves into the deep water, where it's effectively removed from the atmosphere for centuries. Given the staggering number of these fish, their total biomass is estimated to be greater than all other fish in the ocean combined. Their collective exhale represents a massive movement of carbon into the abyss. Scientists can even study the tiny ear stones of these fish, called otoliths, to figure out their metabolic rates and calculate just how much carbon they are transporting. Second, they contribute through their fecal pellets, After eating at the surface, they excrete waste in the deep. But these aren't just any waste products. Their fecal pellets are dense, tightly packed, and sink very quickly. Think of them as concentrated carbon bullets. Because they sink so fast, they are less likely to be broken down by bacteria in the upper ocean. This means a much higher proportion of the carbon they contain reaches the deep sea floor, where it gets sequestered. The diet of the fish influences how effective this is. Different prey result in pellets with different carbon content and sinking speeds, showcasing a beautifully complex system. Third, and this is a relatively recent and surprising discovery, Mesopelagic fish produce carbonate minerals. Scientists found that these deep-sea dwellers excrete minerals like high magnesium calcite, a process linked to how they regulate salt in their bodies. This is a huge deal. For years, global models suggested fish were major contributors to the ocean's carbonate budget, but we didn't know how. This discovery validates those models and shows that this process is happening on a massive scale in the deep ocean, where most of the world's fish biomass lives. These carbonate particles not only lock away carbon, but also help buffer the ocean against acidification, which is caused by the ocean absorbing excess CO2 from the atmosphere. Finally, even in death, these fish make one last contribution. When a mesopelagic fish dies in the deep, its carbon-rich body sinks to the seafloor. This